Next fight up, we've got a welterweight tilt here. Alex Cowboy Oliveira making his glorious return against Shavkat Rakhmonov, who is a UFC debutant. We've got Oliveira, 22, 8, and 1. Tons of experience at this point. A UFC mainstay, almost as popular as the other Cowboy. And Shavkat making his UFC debut, shiny 12 and 0 undefeated record. Matt, I'm going to kick it to you. How do you see this one playing out?
Look, I never bet on guys making their UFC debuts, almost never, but I feel like this guy is a star in the making. We talked about how Dong Jun has never fought anyone but tomato cans on the regional circuit. Go back and look at the record of who this guy's fought, Rachmanov, on the M1 scene. I mean, M1 Global is a pretty good organization, and he wasn't fighting the most elite guys in the world, but most of them are guys that are 22 and 5, 26 and 7, tough guys. Fighting in main events in M1 is no joke. And this guy is a machine, 6'1", 170, as chiseled as it gets, a finishing machine, all 12 wins by finish. And Cowboy Oliveira is a guy who, even though his last couple fights, he seems to be having a more tempered approach to it. He's a guy that overall is a finish you or get finished kind of fighter historically in Cowboy Oliveira. And I think he's going to go in there, the shorter guy, the less reach advantage, against a guy that I think just hasn't been discovered yet. People don't know who they are, who he is yet. There's a flood of fighters coming in from Eastern Europe, and sometimes the general public doesn't know who all of them are. And in this case, we have a fighter from Kazakhstan, but he is an absolute wrecking machine, fighting in a very reputable organization in M1 Global against decent guys here. I went ahead this one and already locked in a play at plus 145 on Rachmanov here.
All right, all right. I like it, and that's a good line. I was actually, I was gonna tell you to talk me off the edge, Matt. I was gonna ask you if you could give me a reason not to bet Shavkat because this is a dog that I see tons of value in. And Alex Oliveira, I feel like he might be a wrongful favorite here. I know you can't. It's hard to make a UFC debuting fighter a favorite over a guy with this much experience, but Alex Oliveira. We saw his 2.0 version his last time out. He's on a 2-fight winning streak for the first time in forever. He seems to be taking this whole thing a little bit more seriously now. But I just think he's limited. He's athletic, he's fast, he's incredibly strong. His technique is finally starting to get there. He's hard to take down, but I think everything that he does, Shavkat already does better. And this is not a like you mentioned, he's coming from a good organization outside the UFC. This is not a kid that's just walked through everybody. He's been chin checked. If you go back and you watch his fight in 2018 against Renat, I believe is the guy who he fought, he got almost knocked stiff on his feet. I mean, he did the whole sack of potatoes fall over thing, managed to stay calm, recovered, came out in round 3 and put that dude away. I mean, this is a tough kid, and he's going to have a height and reach advantage here unless he gets just mauled by Alex on the mat, which we haven't seen Cowboy go to his grappling in some time. I think Shavkat can just kind of stay at range and outstrike him. And even if it does hit the floor, we've seen Oliveira submitted before. And this kid is not, he's a 100% finisher. He's got more submissions on his record, I think, than he has knockouts. So I don't know. I'm very, very tempted to bet the dog here. I haven't put the bet in, and it looks like money's already coming on him. So that line is drying up. If you want to get the dog money on Shavkat, you better get it sooner than later.
I agree. And I think Cowboy Oliveira, it's a little bit of name familiarity here. So this is a guy who's been in there with Cowboy Cerrone, Gilbert Burns, Platinum Mike Perry. He's just been in there with everybody at 170, right? So all of a sudden people get used to, oh, I know who Cowboy Oliveira is, and he's on a 2-fight winning streak. But how impressive is that 2-fight winning streak? He had to step way back in class, split decision win over Max Griffin, and then finally he looked good in one performance against Peter Sabata. Again, another guy kind of on the fringe. I think we could be seeing a superstar in the making at 170, a guy who may just get right past the gatekeeper in Oliveira and keep on going and challenge people in that top 5. I think this is one of those situations where people just haven't discovered him publicly yet, and they're in for a real treat because this young man can fire.
Okay. That's enough for me, Matt. Once we I can't do it right now, but as soon as we get off the show, I'll be looking to see what line I can get, and I'll be joining you on Shavkat. All right. We have currently 435 live viewers. I want to say welcome to everyone that has joined. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here today. This is odds.com. I'm Clint, host of the Die Hard MMA podcast. We are joined by Matt Holt, and he is the president of US Integrity, one of my absolute favorite guests to have on the show. Do me a favor, hit that like button if you haven't already. Jump out there, share the show, get the word out. And again, I have to apologize for the choppiness of my video. My computer ran an update, not sure what happened, so the quality's usually a little better than this. I apologize.